everyone, Brittany Lawton here, and I am back this week for our discussion video series of Sheryl Sandberg's Lean In. This week I'm going to be talking about Chapter 1, the Leadership Ambition Gap, and I'm going to be answering questions from the Lean In discussion guide, which you can find at leanin.org. And if you do have the guide in front of you, you'll notice there are a bunch of questions this week. For the sake of time and patience, I am not going to be answering all of those. I'm just going to pick out a few. And the first question, can you think of a time when gender norms, for example, that boys don't become nurses or girls don't study physics, really influenced a decision you made about your life? So, ironically, this is kind of backwards, and it's not a huge life-altering decision. But back when I was younger, I would say maybe between 13 and 15, somewhere in there, I convinced everybody, or at least attempted to, that my favorite color was yellow. I didn't want to be, the stereotypical girly girl whose favorite color is pink. Newsflash, my favorite color is pink. I love pink. But I was so, I don't want to say ashamed, but I thought that everybody kind of just looked down on the girly girl, like, oh, her favorite color is pink, she loves glitter, like, just looking down on them. And I didn't want to be that person. I knew I didn't want to be looked down on and labeled. So I did everything I could to convince everybody my favorite color was yellow, which is, looking back now, the stupidest thing I ever could have done. But I worked so hard to convince everybody my favorite color was yellow when it truly was pink. And then one day I woke up and realized, everyone else's opinion is influencing, my purchases, the color of my bedroom. It was a little ridiculous. So I just was like, okay, this is stupid. I'm not going to do it anymore. But it was just one of those things where I could have been enjoying my favorite color if I just didn't let everyone influence my decision, and those social norms didn't affect the way I thought. So the second question this week, what roles did your parents play in your childhood home? If you grew up in a house with two parents, was one more responsible for breadwinning, while the other was more responsible for taking care of the kids in the house? Looking back, how do you think the way your parents divided things up shaped your thoughts about gender? I'm very fortunate that until my father passed away when I was 15, my parents split the roles as parenting-wise. My dad was a civil engineer, so he worked the typical, it was 7 to 4 job, and my mom was a hairdresser, so her day was a little bit more flexible, which allowed her to come to, the PTA meetings, my Valentine's Day party at school, all those little things. So she was definitely able to be a part of that, and she was a homeroom parent for, gosh, it feels like forever. Even my high school friends know my mom, like they're her mom. They actually call her Mama Sue. And I'm very fortunate that I had that balance in my life. On the weekends, when my mom was primarily working, because she's a hairstylist, people are off on the weekends and want their hair done, my dad took care of us. And we did tons of fun things. We went to the park, we cooked, we burned the house down almost a couple times. I stuck my hand in a blender, things you just do with your dad. So I'm very fortunate that my parents kind of split that 50-50, and I definitely had that as a recurring theme in my life. I can't think of an aunt or an uncle who has done most of the raising. As I said in my previous video, my grandmother definitely did, but that's, talking a few generations back. Even the family that I used to nanny for down in Florida, both parents had thriving careers. Mom was in marketing. Dad, I want to say, was in something financial. And they took time off of work evenly. So if one of the kids had a soccer game and one of the kids had a Valentine's Day party, one would go to one would go to the other, and they would switch on and off. So it wasn't one parent always leaving work or one parent always, not doing this or not doing that. And they really worked together as a team, and that definitely, seeing that, especially as a young adult, it definitely shaped the way that I think about family life and child rearing and raising a family in a home together. So that's definitely something that influenced me that I hope I can pass on to my kids and really show them that, things should be split 50-50 that way women can have, you know, the same careers as men, and men can have the same incredible connections that moms do with their kids. All right, so that is it for today. I told you I'd be fast. Next week, we're going to talk about Chapter 2, which is called, if I can find it, Sit at the Table. All right, so I look forward to seeing you guys then.